This rather complicated looking quilt is really a fabulous beginner's project. This is the Rainbow Swirl quilt, a quilt I'm very proud of. It was actually featured in a magazine once. I'm Stacy Michell, and today we're going to work on patchwork. The quilt in the photograph uses our vivid rainbow palette, color number 525 of our hand-dyed fabrics, although it could be done in the pastel or the autumn range. You also then pick your favorite color of a half yard for the alternate blocks. 4 yards of a neutral color. In the quilt in the photograph, we used black Kona cotton. This project also uses template set A from the Perfect Patchwork Template System by Marty Michelle. This is kind of a mother-daughter project. Marty Michelle is my mom, but I do the hand-dyed fabrics for Shades Textiles. When you take this as a class, you'll receive this diagram as a handout. This is what we will cut in class. This is the exact amount of solid color fabric that needs to be cut to finish 2 blocks of each style. You can cut all the fabric using this diagram for the solid colors. This is really a great beginner's project. We start with the basic concept of making a 4-patch, then we make pinwheels. Then we make a diamond in the square using the 4-patch and the pinwheel for our square. Next, we'll learn how to make some flying geese in 2 different colors. Next, we put all those pieces together to make 2 different patchwork blocks. This is where the real test of your accuracy comes into play, because these 2 blocks have a different arrangement, a different number of columns, a different number of pieces. If your seam allowance is not perfect, then they do not both come out to be 12-inch blocks. But if you follow the instructions given in this lesson, your blocks will be perfect. The 4 patches in this quilt use only the pink, green, yellow, and purple fabric. So we want to arrange those 4 layers together for cutting. Using a little forethought when stacking our fabric, we will cut the fabric in the right color order. I measure my fabric for cutting by using my template. We're using this small square, and I'm sliding it along the edge of the fabric and the straight edge of the ruler to determine the size to cut. Now that I've cut a strip, I'll come along with my square and sever the squares from the strip. Next, I want to dog-ear all the corners using the perfectly engineered corners on the Perfect Patchwork templates. Now we start sewing them together. By just lifting the top 2 layers off my stack of squares, I have the right 2 colors because I stacked my fabric the right way before I cut it. Now that I'm starting to press them open, I'm pressing open units that are purple and yellow and pink and green, purple and yellow and pink and green. Because all of my 4 patches need to be exactly alike, please notice I am not cutting the little thread in between the double units. This is an advantage to chain piecing these. As I go back to the machine to sew my 2 patches into 4 patches, because I've never snipped the thread in between the 2s, my 4s will stay in the right order. Now I have perfect purple, yellow, green, pink 4 patches. Another benefit of the engineered corners is when I turn these units over to press them flat, my 4-way intersection in the center just spirals and lays down just perfectly. Okay, check your work now. You've sewn 4 patches using piece number 5. Piece number 1 is a 3-inch square. 4 piece number 5s are a 3-inch square also. If your seam allowance is the perfect 1/4 inch, your 4 patches should fit perfectly under your piece number 1. Now we want to make some pinwheels. Again, we want to start with the right colors of fabric. We need colors 1, 2, 3, and 4, or pink, red, orange, and yellow for our pinwheels. Remember, we've already cut all the pieces that we need out of solid color. Chain piece, 1 hand-dyed, and 1 solid color triangle together. Press them open. I love chain piecing. It just really allows me to work in a very neat and methodical fashion. On this project, all of our pinwheels need to be made from the same color. So I keep them in the order that I chain piece them, and all of my pinks are in one row and all of my reds are in another row. Now I go back to the machine and I start putting my 2-piece units with my 2-piece units to make 4-piece units, then 4-piece units with 4-piece units to make 8-piece units, or pinwheels. Due to the engineered corners and carefully pressing all of my pinwheels in a rotational fashion, I have a wonderful spiral on the back of my block where those 8 pieces come together instead of a big lump. Now we're ready to learn our third project in this session, the diamond in the square arrangement. By adding 4 large triangles around these squares, the original square goes on point or becomes a diamond. Start by chain piecing 1 large triangle to the right side of all of the blocks, then a second triangle to the left side of all the blocks, or the parallel side. Pressing that open, we add a 3rd triangle to the top and a 4th triangle to the bottom. No, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. Yes, I do my patchwork upside down. I want to be able to see the majority of the seam allowances, be able to keep them under control so that I don't have a seam allowance flip up and get caught in the seam. Concept number 4, flying geese in 2 different sizes. Using a large triangle in the center, we attach 2 small triangles, one to the right and one to the left. Again, we're working with a rainbow sequence of colors, so I keep them all in order. This will be important a little later on. Start by sewing the right small triangle to all the large triangles, then the left triangle to all the large triangles, and press everything open. Repeat this concept using the larger sizes of triangles for the alternate Martha Washington star block. The engineered corners help you position these just perfectly for the chain piecing. They also lay nice and flat because there's no extra fabric in the bulk of the seam. Block assembly is done by creating units, then sewing units to units, and you have your finished block. For this Martha Washington star, the pinwheel diamond in the square goes in the center, and then large flying geese go on the sides, and there's a square sewn to the ends of the large flying geese. Once all of these units are together, sew your block together. So far, I haven't used any pins in doing my patchwork. This is the first place where I will use a couple of pins to make sure that these seam allowance intersections stay in just the right place. So handy in case you have a seam allowance that goes in the opposing direction when it passes under the foot. You can use your pin kind of as a little stiletto to poke that seam allowance and make it behave. Now we're going to assemble the Rambler block. The Rambler block has a very tricky color sequence, and all of the blocks need to be assembled in the exact same rotation of colors. A 4 patch that has become a diamond in the square is the center. Some of the flying geese units go off on 45-degree angles, and large triangles fill in the side sections. Assemble the units into a block. The final quilt uses 8 Rambler blocks and 7 Martha Washington stars. So the instructions call for making the same number of both blocks, so you'll have 1 extra. I hope you've enjoyed this web class. The Rainbow Swirl quilt is available as a kit on our website, shadestextiles.com. That's shadestextiles.com. The complete Perfect Patchwork Template System is also available on our website. And you can buy our Shades hand-dyed textiles in any color you like. Packages or pieces, all available at the website. I'm Stacy Michell. I'm based in the Atlanta area, but I'd love to come visit your quilt retreat and teach my classes there. Well, I'm off to start another project, and good luck to you with this one.